On a clear night, when we lift our eyes to the starry sky, what do we truly see? Points of light navigating the void, or an invitation to the most extraordinary of journeys? Carl Sagan, with his poetic vision of science, taught us that we are ancient particles that have traveled for billions of years until becoming consciousness. The cosmos is not merely a distant place. It is our origin, and perhaps our destiny. In the vast and seemingly indifferent universe, Sagan found not only physical laws but also meaning and reverence. We are made of star stuff. This profound realization connects us directly to the cosmos in ways both scientifically accurate and spiritually moving. The hydrogen in our bodies was formed in the Big Bang. The carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars that exploded billions of years before our sun formed. When we contemplate this reality, we understand that we are not separate from the universe. We are its children, born from its processes, carrying its history within our very atoms. Sagan transformed astronomy into a profoundly human experience, where each scientific discovery was also a revelation about ourselves. Understanding is a kind of ecstasy, he reminded us, uniting reason and emotion in a cosmic dance that continues to inspire generations. When we contemplate the universe, we are not merely observers. We are the universe becoming conscious of itself. The cosmos evolved into a form that can look back upon its own majesty and wonder at its own existence. And you? When was the last time you looked at the stars and felt that primal connection to the cosmos? What did that moment awaken in you? In a world often dominated by superstitions and irrational fears, Sagan raised science not as a cold set of formulas, but as an essential tool for illumination and liberation. For him, scientific thinking was a form of love for knowledge that protects us against our own illusions. He saw how throughout human history, our tendency toward magical thinking and our susceptibility to charismatic authority had led us astray countless times. Yet he never condemned this aspect of humanity. Rather, he understood it as an inevitable byproduct of our pattern-seeking brains, a trait that had served our ancestors well, but now required refinement. Science is a candle in the dark. This metaphor elegantly captures the essence of scientific inquiry, not as an arrogant claim to ultimate truth, but as a humble light that helps us navigate the darkness of our ignorance. Science does not claim omniscience. Instead, it acknowledges the limits of human understanding while continuously pushing those boundaries outward. The candle's flame may flicker, and its light may only illuminate a small circle around us. But it is infinitely preferable to stumbling blindly through the dark. If we don't question, if we don't learn, if we don't test our ideas against the external world, we are blind by choice, he gently warned. True wonder, according to Sagan, resides not in fanciful stories about reality, but in reality itself, infinitely more surprising and majestic when revealed through the scientific method. The universe that science unveils is far more magnificent than any mythology humans have created. Stars being born and dying, galaxies colliding across billions of years, quantum particles behaving in ways that defy our intuition. This perspective transformed our relationship with the unknown. Where once we saw threats, Sagan taught us to see questions. Where we had fear, he planted curiosity. Doubt, often feared, was presented as a virtue, a path to truth that requires courage and humility. Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality, he stated, challenging the false dichotomy between reason and emotion that still fragments our understanding. This approach transcends astronomy and permeates all of human existence. When we apply critical thinking in our daily lives, from personal relationships to political decisions, we exercise the same mental musculature that allows us to comprehend quasars and black holes. Intellectual rigor and openness to contrary evidence do not diminish our humanity. They amplify it, aligning our beliefs more intimately with the reality we share. And you? What was the last personal belief you had the courage to question? How did that questioning transform your worldview? Perhaps no image captured by humanity is as philosophically profound as the photograph of Earth taken from Voyager 1 as it reached the edges of our solar system. The pale blue dot that Sagan so eloquently described. In this historic image, requested by Sagan himself, our entire planet appears as nothing more than a tiny speck, suspended in a vast cosmic darkness, caught in a sunbeam like a mote of dust in a cathedral. It is a portrait of everything we know, everything we have ever known, reduced to a nearly invisible point in the immensity of space. Look again at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us. In this tiny shadow suspended in a sunbeam, all our history has unfolded. Every emperor and peasant, every war and romance, every discovery and setback, all confined to a mere particle of cosmic dust. The pharaohs and Caesars, Genghis Khan and Napoleon, Mozart and Einstein, and the countless billions whose names history never recorded, all lived out their dramas on this minuscule stage. The great migrations, the rise and fall of civilizations, the sacred texts and bloodiest wars, all have transpired on this infinitesimal blue grain. This cosmic perspective does not diminish us, it liberates us. The artificial boundaries we draw to separate ourselves from one another disappear when we look at our planet from this distance. The tribal distinctions that fuel conflicts appear absurdly insignificant. The concerns that consume our days reveal their true scale in the universal panorama. As Sagan observed, astronomy is an experience in humility and character building. What this vision offers is not existential despair, but moral clarity. If this small world is all we have, if we are the only known guardians of life in this vast cosmos, our responsibility to one another and to our planet acquires a sacred urgency. The evident fragility of our cosmic home does not invite indifference, but deeper care. The apparent insignificance of our planet in the spatial immensity only amplifies the miracle of consciousness that emerged here. Our petty differences and conflicts seem tragically misguided when viewed against the backdrop of cosmic scale. The pale blue dot perspective thus becomes not merely an astronomical exercise, but a path to wisdom and compassion. By realizing how small we are, we can finally understand how precious we are, all together on this pale blue dot, eternally navigating the void. This image gives us a profound lesson in cosmic citizenship. We are all crew members on Spaceship Earth, with no possibility of evacuation and nowhere else to go. Our shared destiny binds us together far more powerfully than any differences could ever separate us. And you? How would your life change if you constantly carried this cosmic perspective? What would lose importance and what would gain value in your existence? For Sagan, the universe was a vast library waiting to be deciphered, with galaxies as volumes and stars as pages. He saw the cosmos not as a random collection of matter and energy, but as a repository of information, patterns and processes that we could learn to read if we developed the right tools and languages. Just as ancient humans gazed at the night sky and found constellations, modern science looks deeper and discovers the underlying grammar of existence itself. The cosmos is all that is or was or ever will be. This elegant definition captures both the comprehensiveness of the universe and our attempt to understand it. Like children learning to read, we are only beginning to decipher the symbols of this infinite library. Each scientific advance turns another page in the cosmic book. Each discovery reveals another sentence in the universe's autobiography. The expansion of the universe, the nature of black holes, the strange dance of quantum particles, these are not merely facts to be catalogued, but chapters in an epic story that began long before humans evolved and will continue long after we are gone. What makes this metaphor so powerful is the implication of authorship. If the universe is a book, who or what wrote its laws? For Sagan, this question did not necessarily require a traditional religious answer, but it certainly evoked reverence. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe, he joked, illustrating how even the most everyday acts are connected to the fundamental laws of physics. The recipe for an apple pie presupposes the formation of carbon in stellar furnaces, the condensation of our solar system from interstellar gas, the evolution of apple trees on Earth, a chain of causality stretching back to the Big Bang itself. The cosmic library is not just distant in the stars. It is embodied in our own DNA, in the cultural memories we preserve, in the stories we tell. We are simultaneously the readers and part of the text, an emerging self-consciousness within the book itself. This dual nature, being both the observer and the observed, confers a special responsibility on the human species. We are not merely passive recipients of cosmic information, but active participants in its interpretation and continuation. Sagan believed deeply in the transformative potential of knowledge. Ignorance might be temporarily comfortable, but never as satisfying as understanding. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known, he assured us, transforming the pursuit of knowledge into an irresistible adventure. This posture of perpetual wonder is available to everyone, not just professional scientists. It requires only genuine curiosity and a willingness to question. The most profound scientific discoveries begin with the same childlike curiosity that makes a toddler ask why. A simple question that can lead to intellectual journeys spanning generations. When we incorporate this mindset into our daily lives, each experience becomes an opportunity for learning. Each person we meet a bearer of unique knowledge, each challenge an invitation to expand our understanding. The cosmic library is not a static collection, but a living archive that continues to grow as consciousness evolves throughout the universe. And you? What was the last discovery, large or small, that awakened your sense of wonder? How do you cultivate curiosity in your everyday life? We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. This profound observation by Sagan captures the extraordinary singularity of human consciousness. Through us, through our science, art, and philosophy, the universe develops self-awareness. The atoms organized in our minds are the same ones that were forged in the hearts of stars billions of years ago. The hydrogen in our bodies dates back to the origin of the universe itself. Heavier elements like carbon and oxygen were synthesized in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars that exploded long before our sun formed. This connection is not merely poetic, it is literally true. The calcium in our bones, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our DNA, all these essential elements were created through nuclear fusion in now extinct stars. We are, in a very real way, descendants of the stars. Our blood carries the iron that once flowed in the core of a red giant. Our tears contain salt that once dissolved in primordial seas. Our thoughts are transmitted by electrons that have existed since the dawn of time. We are a way for the universe to investigate itself. This realization transforms our understanding of what it means to be human. We are not separate from nature or distinct from the cosmos. We are nature's way of wondering about itself. The same processes that created mountains and oceans also created the human mind. And through that mind, the universe has developed the capacity to contemplate its own existence. When we look through telescopes or analyze subatomic particles, we are the universe looking at itself through human eyes, studying itself through human instruments, understanding itself through human theories. This cosmic lineage unites us not only with all human beings, but with all life on Earth, and potentially with other forms of life in the universe. The genetic code that directs the development of a human embryo shares fundamental similarities with the genetic code of bacteria, trees, and butterflies. We are all cousins in the great family tree of life, all descended from the same primordial cells that first appeared on our planet about 4 billion years ago. This biological kinship extends the cosmic connection, reminding us that the boundaries we perceive between species are as arbitrary as the boundaries we draw between nations. Sagan promoted this cosmic consciousness as an antidote to tribalism and narrow nationalism. Nationality is an accident of birth, he observed. Science reveals our true citizenship. We are, first and foremost, Earthlings, inhabitants of a small planet in an ordinary galaxy among billions of others. This perspective does not diminish our cultural identities, but places them in context, allowing us to see beyond the superficial differences that often divide us. The cosmic connection reminds us that beneath our different languages, customs, and beliefs, we share a common origin and a common destiny. The cosmic connection also transforms our relationship with time. When we understand the scale of cosmic and biological evolution that produced us, our individual lives acquire both greater humility and greater significance. We are momentary but consequential, temporary bearers of a consciousness that represents something extraordinary in the known universe. Our brief lives are links in a chain that stretches back to the first stirrings of life on Earth and potentially forward to unimaginable futures among the stars. This understanding invites us to an expansive ethic. If we are, as Sagan suggested, a way for the cosmos to know itself, then our survival and flourishing acquire importance that transcends our immediate interests. The preservation of consciousness becomes a cosmic imperative, not merely a human concern. The values of truth, beauty, and goodness are not arbitrary human constructs, but manifestations of the universe's evolution toward greater complexity and awareness. And you? How does your perception of identity change when you see yourself as conscious star stuff? In what ways might this cosmic connection transform your relationships with other people? In his passionate defense of the environment, Sagan was prophetic. Long before climate change became a mainstream concern, he was warning about humanity's impact on our planet's delicate systems. He saw clearly how our species was dramatically altering the only planet we know to be habitable, driven by short-term thinking and a dangerous illusion of separation from nature. Through his work on planetary atmospheres, including his early warnings about the greenhouse effect on Venus, he recognized the precarious balance that sustains life on Earth. Our preference for short-term goals and our apparent self-interest have imperiled our long-term survival. This criticism did not derive from sentimentalism, but from the scientific understanding of our complete dependence on Earth's natural systems. Unlike many environmentalists who appealed primarily to emotion, Sagan built his case on solid scientific evidence, atmospheric chemistry, climate models, planetary comparisons. He understood that we are utterly dependent on the intricate web of life that has evolved over billions of years on our planet. The oxygen we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, all come from a biosphere that we are rapidly degrading through deforestation, pollution, and greenhouse gas emissions. For Sagan, environmental protection was not a political cause. It was a logical necessity. If this small planet is our only home in the vast cosmos, damaging it is fundamentally irrational. Any species that destroys its own habitat is doomed to extinction, he warned, with the hope that our intelligence might eventually overcome our recklessness. He saw our relationship with Earth as the ultimate test of our maturity as a species, whether we could transition from adolescent exploitation to adult stewardship. But Sagan saw beyond the threats. He envisioned possibilities. The same knowledge that allowed us to negatively impact our planet could be redirected to nurture it. The same creativity that invented potentially dangerous technologies could develop sustainable solutions. Somewhere between all and nothing there is something, our precarious future. This cautious optimism was characteristic of Sagan, never naive about the challenges we face, but never surrendering to despair either. He believed that scientific literacy, combined with moral wisdom, could guide humanity toward a sustainable relationship with our planetary home. This environmental vision was intrinsically connected to his cosmic perspective. By observing Earth from space, we see its singular beauty and fragility, an oasis of life in a vacuum desert. The search for extraterrestrial life has only amplified our understanding of how precious the Earth's biosphere is. Despite decades of searching, we have yet to confirm the existence of life beyond Earth. Until we discover other inhabited worlds, we must treat our planet as if it were the only one, because as far as we know, it is. The blue marble of Earth, suspended in the cosmic void, remains the only known harbor of consciousness in the universe. Sagan's message about sustainability was fundamentally hopeful. He believed that the same scientific curiosity that led us to the stars could teach us to live in harmony with our planetary garden. The understanding of our connection with all living beings was not just factually correct, but also ethically transformative. When we truly internalize that we are part of nature, not separate from it, our relationship with the environment changes from exploitation to partnership. The garden metaphor is apt. We can be either mindless consumers or thoughtful cultivators of Earth's bounty. And you? How does understanding the rarity of life in the universe affect your view of the environment? What small change could you implement today to honor this cosmic garden we inhabit? Perhaps Carl Sagan's most enduring legacy is his vision for humanity's future. While recognizing the dangers we face, nuclear wars, environmental catastrophes, fanaticism, he maintained a cautious optimism based on the potential of human intelligence. He saw our species at a crucial crossroads, capable of either self-destruction or unprecedented flourishing. The same technology that threatened our existence through nuclear weapons also offered the possibility of spreading consciousness beyond Earth. This duality created what he called a time of perils and a time of opportunity. For Sagan, space exploration was not an escape from Earth, but a natural extension of our innate curiosity, the same that led our ancestors to navigate unknown oceans, cross forbidding deserts, and climb imposing mountains. We dream of traveling to the stars, but if you think about it, isn't it the journey to the stars that we want? What we truly seek is the expansion of our lives, our horizons, our knowledge, freedom, and duration. This insight revealed that space exploration is not primarily about conquest or resource acquisition, but about the fundamental human drive to transcend limitations and explore the unknown. The surface of the Earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. This powerful metaphor positioned humanity at the beginning of a grand adventure. Just as primitive life forms once emerged from the sea to colonize the land, opening vast new evolutionary possibilities, humanity now stands at the threshold of space, contemplating an even more momentous transition. The metaphor suggests both continuity with our evolutionary past and radical transformation of our future. We are the descendants of explorers, from the first fish that ventured onto land to the first humans who sailed beyond the horizon. Space exploration is the next chapter in this ancient story. He envisioned a future in which humanity would become a multiplanetary species, not out of desperate necessity, but through inspired choice. While acknowledging the practical benefits of space technology, satellites for communication, weather prediction, environmental monitoring, Sagan emphasized the deeper significance of expanding beyond Earth. He believed that spreading consciousness to other worlds would serve as a kind of cosmic insurance policy, protecting the extraordinary achievement of awareness from extinction due to a single planetary catastrophe. More profoundly, he saw space exploration as consciousness, evolving toward ever greater levels of complexity and connection. However, Sagan insisted that this expansion to the stars would only be possible if we first learned to live sustainably on our home planet. The maturity necessary to become a lasting space civilization is the same required to preserve our planet of origin. The skills are identical: systemic thinking, long-term planning, global cooperation, and wise application of technology. A species that cannot manage its relationship with its native environment is unlikely to succeed in the far more challenging environment of space. Conversely, the innovations developed for space travel, closed-loop life support systems, efficient recycling, solar energy, could help solve environmental problems on Earth. Thus, the future Sagan imagined was not divided between staying on Earth or departing for space. He saw these as complementary parts of the same journey. The cosmic perspective we gain by looking at the night sky would eventually lead us to explore those distant worlds, not as conquerors, but as humble students and ambassadors of terrestrial life. In his vision, humanity would carry consciousness to the stars, while simultaneously preserving the Garden of Earth, a dual responsibility that defines our cosmic purpose. This future would require not only technological innovation, but also social and ethical evolution. The primitive tribalism that still fractures our species into competing nations would need to give way to a planetary identity. The short-term thinking that drives environmental destruction would need to mature into multi-generational planning. The fear of difference that fuels conflict would need to transform into celebration of diversity. In this way, Sagan saw space exploration as both requiring and catalyzing our growth as a species. By reaching for the stars, we become better inhabitants of Earth. And you? What dream for humanity's future awakens your imagination and hope? How do you balance realism about our challenges with optimism about our potential?